Have you ever tried playing the game Rise of Nations but it looks too complicated? In this tutorial, I'm going to give you a basic rundown of the mechanics of the game that the tutorial doesn't teach you. The first thing I'm going to look at is the Country tab. The first button on the Country tab is the Laws button. Currently, the only type of laws are conscription laws. Conscription laws, all of these have pros and cons and cost political power. There's disarmed, volunteer, which I like to stick with, limited, extensive, and required. There's also policies, which like the conscription laws, also have pros and cons and cost political power. The ones I recommend are the Welfare Act, improve infrastructure, and press censorship. There's also the ideologies tab. Like the other two, these have pros and cons, and there's 7 ideologies and 3 different branches. The first branch is the Socialist Communist branch, which gives you benefit of better military and better stability at the expense of tax and unrest reduction. There's the Liberalist and the Democratic tab, which gives a bonus of more money at the expense of justification time, military upkeep, and manpower increase. The Nationalist Fascist branch adds a lot of stability. It takes away a bit of tax income. It adds unrest, but it lowers justification time and gives you more manpower. The Factions button lets you create factions that people can join, and if someone's in your faction, you can fight with them in wars. Modifiers show all the current modifiers you have from events, and the rankings show how you are compared to other countries. These are formables. If you hover over a formable, you can see all the different countries that you need to make the formable. You can also click map, and it will show you all the cities you need. The next thing I'm going to go over is the Diplomacy tab. Now, your own Diplomacy tab lets you release countries that are in your current country right now and view other countries. To view a different country, otherwise, you click on their city and then click on their flag. Declare war button lets you declare war on a nation, but you need a justification. If you make a puppet state out of them, they'll have to fight with you, and they can be converted to your ideology if you want. And this is an important part. If you justify a war goal, that gives you permission to declare war. Conquest wars take the shortest amount to justify depending on your ideologies, and they are usually the war you want to do. They just let you take their land. Subjugation wars make them your puppet, and liberation wars liberate the countries that they own. Sending aid lets you send money to a different nation. You can view their cities, and you can view their trades. The next thing I'm going to go over is the Economic tab. This gives you a basic rundown of your economy, and these buttons do things too. So, economic laws, like the conscription laws, have pros and cons. The government spending has pros and cons. It lets you get more political power, and it ups your stability, while taxation laws give you either more stability if you go low, or less stability if you go high, but more money. Research spending gives you more research power, which I'm going to talk about in a second. There's city overviews where you can see your most popular cities, their tier, their manpower gain, and their tax income. There's also the resources and trades button, but that's a complicated subject that I'm going to talk about in a different video. Next thing we're going to go over is technology. At the bottom here, you'll see research power. The more research power you have, the more far you can go. different technologies do different things. Research improvements, for example, give you more research power. Political improvement, more stability and more political power. Infantry improvement, better infantry units, and so on. The final tab is the military tab. The doctrines button lets you choose military doctrines. One of them is army doctrines. One of them includes army doctrines, which you can choose between balance, specialization, and mass attack. I stick with balance, but specialization is for less units, but it makes them have more experience, while mass attack, more units, less experience. Naval doctrines, similar. If you want to use an escort fleet, you would use that. If you want to use more submarines, you can do that. Capital fleet, and so on. Same with this one. Air supremacy, you can use for fighters. Ground support, you can use for attackers. And strategic bombing, that's for bombers. Ongoing wars shows the wars you're in. In military groups, you can create a military group. And you can drag your mouse around like that, and you can click assign group. You can assign them to your group, and they're in your military group. Military leaders, you can assign them. They have, as you can see, they have pros and cons. More XP, less movement, and less attack for this one. And now the troops have that pro and con. Next thing I'm going to go over is how to declare war. First, choose the nation that you're going to go to war with. Click justify war goal. Generally click conquest and click justify war. Now we're going to wait 75 days until it's done. Alright, we've justified our war against Belgium. Now we're going to drag our mouse and we're going to select our units. This white line shows the path of your units, and you can see your arrow. You're going to want to put that on the area that you want your units to go to. Let's say around here near Belgium, and we'll start moving that way. Now we're going to go ahead and declare war on Belgium. We're now at war with Belgium. Now I'm just going to show you a very quick strategy to use on AI. If you drag your units and go to one city, when you conquer that city, the AI, all of their units will immediately go to that city. So you can get all of your army and go to one city to gather up all their units. Once their units are dead, you can drag your mouse, get your units, and you're going to click auto capture. You're going to select the country you're at war with, and your units are automatically going to start moving around the country and capturing. I'm just going to wait for this process to be done. Okay, so Belgium has collapsed. Now, to end the war, we're going to click on their flag, negotiate terms, annex cities, that will make you annex all their cities, seize state treasury, that will make you take their money, and seize state resources. Now, you can right click on these to make it the highest number, which is 75%. If you want, you can do demand war reparations, but I personally don't. And if you don't want to take all their cities, you can hit the select cities button, and you can click on the cities you don't want. Then you're going to hit send terms. Are you sure? Yes, we are sure. And we have taken Belgium. If you do this over and over, you can become a large country, but I do not recommend playing in Europe first try, because other players can attack you, and it's a lot harder when they're not AI. The next thing I'm going to go over is this bottom right corner right here. These are map modes with different modes of the map that you can use. The only ones I really use that much are biomes and terrain, because if it's mountainous terrain, they're gonna go slower. Diplomatic actions, if I'm justifying a war, it will show how much longer I have to justifying. The military groups show your military groups. Trades show ongoing trades that you have. Resources show your resources. Outgoing aid shows any aid that you're monthly sending to a country. And that's all for that quarter. These are events. So these will appear and there's going to have two choices. For this one, bribe official, where you lose money but you gain political power, or refuse. I'm going to refuse because events like these can trigger other bad events. That's about all the basics. I'm just going to show a quick time lapse of me getting more countries as Germany. I forgot to tell you that if you click Control and drag, you can select cities, and you can click units and tap on the unit you want, and you can make more units. I think this is a good stopping point to end the video. I hope you learned a thing or two, and I'll see you in the next part.